Okay, so my three ideas, this is my first one, which is the one that I'm going with as of now, is a short documentary or like a portrait. So it's like 3 to 4 minutes. Like it'll be like a really long interview scene, but I'm trying to cut it down as much as possible, just put like the bits people are actually interested in. And it's going to be in a style, you know, when you go to like a museum or something and they have videos playing on the wall with like subtitles, and like it's like a short story of somebody's passion or whatever. That's the aim for it this time. It's about my grandparents who used to be figure skaters, so that's what it's about. I've made like a little video of what inspired, but I'll go back to that at the end. I've made one for each one, but I'll just show it for this one because it's the idea that I'm going for. The strengths for this idea is I'll be using a multicam setup for the interview scene, which I've done in work experience. The aim for the video, the reason why I'm doing this video in this style is because work experience has taught me so many new skills, and I just want to, I'm showing it as like how it's benefited me. And also I did a documentary last year, so just show like how far I've come in a year, because I know it's going to be better than last year as well. I hope so anyway. Using different lenses will be also a new strength, because we'll be using telephoto lens. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet, if I'm going to rent it or buy one, I'm not sure yet. The weaknesses of this idea is quite a niche audience. Researching it into further, it's quite the figure skating and the like ballet is quite similar. I don't know, I just did that as my research, but it keeps coming up as like 55 plus people, and I looked into the Winter Olympics and that's the same. So it's mainly, according to my research so far, it's mainly based at females over the age of 55. But I think I can make it interesting to more than just that. The opportunities that I get from this will be working with a venue, which I'm currently in talks with them now, because my grandparents still have contacts inside the venue in Blackpool, but I sent an email out last week. I'm still waiting for a reply. But my contingency plan for that, there's 2 ice skating rinks around. There's one in Altrincham and one in Sheffield. So if I can't get permissions in Blackpool, then I'll go there. But I'd rather go to Blackpool because it shows the contrast between the archive photos they have and stuff like that. The opportunity is also, I'll increase my editing skills a lot. Potentially, it can be something for the ice rinks website or something, I don't know. And I get to tell someone's story again, which I enjoy doing. The threats, not getting permission, and it's quite a niche market. They're the 2 threats I came up with. The challenges, making it for the target audience. That's why I'm putting subtitles in and stuff like that. Lighting the interview, which I've been learning lighting, but I haven't done it myself yet. Using a multi-mic and a multi-cam setup, and managing venue permissions. I think this is the best one for challenges because it's all things that I didn't have to do last year, and I've never had to contact a venue or anything like that before. So, my second idea is a highly graphic. It's a music video with a lot of visual effects in. So like the one that David shows us a few times, and other ones like with the right-on effects and stuff like that. I don't really know what music I'd do it for. I just put indie because that's kind of what I listen to. The equipment that I'd use that I haven't used before is studio lighting and a dolly or like a rail setup. There won't be any audio, which is a bad thing because it ticks the box. I like doing audio, so yeah. The strengths of that would be using the studio, because I haven't actually used the studio for a project yet. Learning a lot, developing my visual effects quite a lot, and it could be a comparison to the one that we did in our first year, so it shows how far we've come again, because the one in the first year, looking back at it the other month, was quite funny. The weaknesses is no audio. Obviously copyright is a big weakness as well. Making it different, because I'm just worried that I take so much inspiration from other videos, it's just going to look like a blatant rip-off of other videos. So I had some ideas of doing some sort of water effects, or like powder effects that they do for photography and stuff like that, but that's quite a messy setup in the studio, so that's another weakness of that. Doing something new, which is show adaptability, storytelling in a new way, because I'm used to doing documentary films in work experience and last year, but it would widen my skill level and maybe get feedback from the artists themselves. So talked about that basically, yeah. So my final idea, was originally going to be the one that I went for, but it's like really never going to happen. Maybe something I can do at uni, but it's something that I would probably want to do at some point. It was going to be a pilot episode for a TV show. So like, I take a lot of inspiration from Top Gear and the Grand Tour, because that's one of my major passions, is cars as well as media. It'd be a studio-based TV show, but also with field shooting. On topic is obviously automotive. The equipment would be, again, it'd be like a multicam setup, probably 3 cameras maybe. Strengths is using a multicam TV show at university, because one of the university courses I'm going to, I'm between 2, is TV production. So it would have been a good thing to show, but it's really never going to happen, really, to be honest. Set design, that's a massive thing as well, which would have been a strength, but it's also a major weakness. Managing a team, because there's no way you can make a pilot TV show episode without a team. So obviously, I was thinking originally that you could work with, first years in the level 3, but they're doing their FMPs as well as us, so it's kind of like it'd be hard to get a group of people together who'd want to do that, as well as doing their FMP at the same time, because I understand how much planning it takes in that. The weaknesses is there'd be no budget, so you've got to try and make it look professional with no budget or very little budget. Trying to find a car owner, which I did actually find. I managed to find someone who owns a Lamborghini who said that he'd more than happy to help, which I was shocked about. But finding someone that would want to be the presenter is also the biggest thing, because the presenter is what a TV show is all about, and there's no one that I know who'd be suitable for the role. So that's one of the major things that put me off, as well as the crew. Obviously, trying to make it compared to Top Gear and something like that, it's never going to happen, because they have massive crews, and then I think it just also end up maybe like a rip-off of those, but they are kind of a rip-off of each other, to be honest. Yeah, so that's my 3 ideas. I can show my inspiration for idea 1 if you want. I just made a short video. I did one for each one, but so like some of these are from. Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh, that's idea 2. Okay, so some of this it's got titles on what it's about as well. Some of this is a style that we've been doing a work experience like this. So I've been working on edits for work experience as well, which has helped me out a lot. So I'll tell you about them as it comes along. So this is one of the videos that they made at work experience. So like, this is a kind of style, like a talk over with cutaways, but also an interview like type scene. This is how I'd like to display the archive images, and instead of like putting it like straight on the screen, like getting some sort of footage like of them. I had like an idea for shots where they're going back up into the attic and like uncovering their old ice skates and the pictures, and like all covered in dust and stuff like that. It'd be quite cool, I think. This is the closest thing that they've done at work experience to how the style that I'd put. I don't really know. But this is all based for like a museum type thing. So I'll just skip to something that's a bit different. So for shots, as for ice skating, also I didn't mention, another challenge for the ice skating thing, apart from the permissions, is finding someone that I'd want to get a figure skater. So I don't know how I'm going to find them. I asked in an email today if I could film a practice or something like that, but the main worry for them is getting people in the shot, because it's a public place. But basically when I sent the email, I thought of all the things that they could come back and say no to me about, and answer the questions in the email before they ask the questions. So about like people being in shot and stuff like that. But I'm also if he comes back and says no, I'm going to ask like what they charge for like, I don't know, like an hour or something on the ice. So this is, I did a little bit of ice skating research. Also watched the film I, Tonya that just came out for some inspiration.
Have you contacted the ice skating clubs as well as just the venue?
I've just been focused on the venue at the moment because I want to go to that venue because that's where they learn how to ski and it's still open. And it's got more of a cinematic style than any other because you know how they are now, it's like an ice hockey rink, but that's still like a half rink figure skating, like they do shows and stuff there. But I'm not sure how it's going to go yet. I'm still waiting back for a reply, but it's a big company as well because it's owned by the Blackpool Pleasure Beach, so that's also like a hard thing because if it's like Altrincham, it's like its own rink in it. So this is a shot from Antonia that I'd love to recreate, but it depends. Like that's obviously done with a crane, that first one. I was thinking I could maybe do it with my drone, but yeah. But obviously then there's more permission and stuff like that. Yeah.
You know, from your second idea, it's a music video, but you put on your PowerPoint no audio.
Oh no, I won't be filming any audio. Like it won't be my audio, someone else's audio. That's what I meant by that. Yeah.
At Altrincham, they do like, if you're skating, like they'll actually tell you to get off and let the professionals go on. Like I've been there and they said like, tell everyone to get off and they put like actual skaters on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can always, thinking about that, I can always get in, if they say no about filming practice, I can always film Matt Gormangana's bit back at Blackpool and film it separately. Because it's more like tight shots I want to go for, so I could film it in a way where you wouldn't be able to tell it's filmed at a completely separate location. But also, it depends how eager these people are in Blackpool, because it's like, it's got lighting setups above as well, because it says studio thing. It's before the shows in Blackpool, we've already worked that out. It's just before the shows start, but they'll obviously have practice and stuff like that. Because the show season starts just off a few months after I'd filmed it, or a month after I'd filmed it. Because that was another big concern. But I'd already started, like, I already asked my Gormangana about it because work experience kind of gave me an idea because I was stuck for the idea. And they said, well, I was telling them about my idea last year that I did, and I was telling them that story. And I was like, well, do you have any more interesting stories in your family? I was like, oh, not really. But then when I sat down and thought about it, I was like, oh, I'd love to shoot that. So.
Do they know people in figure skating clubs?
They don't know people now, but they know people. They know one guy that manages the shows who still skates today, and they used to skate with him when they were younger. But they don't skate. They haven't skated for a few, since about 8 when they took off.
I don't know loads of random people, but I do know somebody that I know some people that are figure skaters. If you need people.
Yeah, I would need someone, but it's about where I could film and stuff. But I think that'd work if I film. I think Altringham's the nearest ring to here, wasn't it? Yeah. So if I could film there for their shots like that, yeah. Any more questions?
How long are you planning on making it?
Like 10 minutes at the absolute max, but I was aiming for like 5 minutes because I wanted it to be somewhere short, so like people who aren't that interested in the figure skating or whatever can still jump into it. But I don't really know. Like I don't want it to be like 15, 20 minutes like my last one was, because I realise now that I could have cut that way down. Like I've learned new editing skills and work experience, so because we've been working on like a 45-minute interview, I've cut down to like a 4-minute thing. So I didn't mention that I wouldn't be using the editing software that I learned at college. I'll be using Final Cut and DaVinci Resolve for colour grading, because learning DaVinci Resolve last week changed the way that I'd colour grade from now on, because it's so much better than Premiere and Final Cut, I think. Yeah, I've got Final Cut at home, and there's Final Cut on the Max Air, and DaVinci on the Max Air as well. So, but I'll be doing most of my editing at home anyway, so. I know all the shortcuts for Final Cut now, so, and the multicam setup on Final Cut's really good, yeah.
Because you can set it so it all
Yeah, and then you can just press one button and it'll change over to the angle, yeah.
will Final Cut.
So do you think my idea one's the idea to go for then? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any more questions?